there's one thing to expect from the new era of Doctor Who that's about to begin, it's lots and lots of character returns. We already know that Donna Noble and Kate Stewart are in the 60th anniversary and Mel Bush is in series 14, but who else should join them? I'm Ellie with Who Culture here with 10 characters who should return for the 60th anniversary and beyond. Number 10, Osgood. One of the most meta things Doctor Who has ever done is introduce a character who's a massive fan of Doctor Who. Petronella Osgood works for UNIT as a scientific advisor. She's nerdy, a bit wimpish, and definitely a self-insert for all the doting Whovians out there, as evidenced by her rather eye-catching dress sense. Everything from 4th Doctor-inspired scarves to question marks on her collar. Osgood was originally killed by Missy, but this actually turned out to be her double, which was due to the involvement of shape-shifting Zygons. And look, there's quite a lot to recap here, so we'll just cut to the chase and say that Osgood is currently alive and well, and presumably still working for UNIT. With UNIT set to be a key part of the next era of Doctor Who, there's no reason why the Doctor's biggest fan can't show up too, while making lots of wink wink nudge nudge comments about the past 60 years of the show. Actress Ingrid Oliver clearly loves playing Osgood, and she's a fan favourite character to boot. Her return almost makes too much sense. Number 9, Trinity Wells. Every time I see Trinity Wells, it just makes me think of that scene in Turn Left where Wilf is like, "America, they'll save us," and then it just cuts to Trinity Wells on the news going, "America is in crisis." Now, you may not know her name, but you've definitely seen Trinity Wells' face before. From her on-screen debut reporting the spaceship crashing into the Thames in Aliens of London, Wells was front and centre during the coverage of most extraterrestrial goings-on during Russell T Davies's first tenure in charge. An anchor for the fictional AMNN news network, Wells' crisp American accent lent a sense of gravitas to some of the biggest moments of the Davies regime. From the arrival of the Sycorax to President Winter's speech aboard the Valiant to the Atmos crisis. She ended up becoming one of the most consistent parts of RTD's first era and made the events of the show feel truly global. So now that Russell is back in the big chair, it would be an amazing nod to the past to bring this cherished micro character back to Doctor Who. All she needs to do is pop up for one scene, announce something big is happening, and then go. Nobody's asking for a deep dive into her backstory or for her to play a major role. And with AMNN already being glimpsed on a TV screen in the 60th anniversary's Eurovision trailer, a return for Trinity seems like it actually might be on the cards. Number 8, River Song. Now, just to be clear, if it were up to me, she'd be at number 1, but I'll settle for her being on the list full stop. Although she was used more during Stephen Moffat's time as Doctor Who showrunner, it is important to remember that River Song actually debuted during the RTD years. That debut was a Moffat-penned episode, but it was still the RTD era. The timeline-twisting professor ended up playing a huge role in the Matt Smith era before getting her big send-off alongside Peter Capaldi in the 2015 Christmas special. This felt like a line being drawn under her character. But if there's one thing you should know about Melody Pond, it's that she never does things by the book. Considering that a David Tennant Doctor was the first to meet River in the show's chronology and the last one that River saw, it makes perfect sense for her to encounter this face once again, only in a slightly different form. Now, in Silence in the Library, she even tells the 10th Doctor that "you're younger than I've ever seen you," which could imply that she's seen an older version of this face before, i.e. the 14th Doctor. She's easily one of the most important characters in New Who, and her complex timeline provides an easy excuse to bring her back for a one-off. Though she's also popular enough to lead her own spin-off too, let's be honest. I would be first in line to watch that. Number 7, K9. If you're going to celebrate the last 60 years of Doctor Who, then you have to include everyone's favourite mechanical mutt. K9 was a mainstay of Tom Baker's time in the TARDIS, and his popularity with younger audiences even got him his own spin-off, K9 and Company, but that was cancelled after just one episode. Don't bring that up around him though, he doesn't like it, it's a bit of a sore spot. The robot dog then made a welcome return in the New Who episode School Reunion, alongside former companion and bestest human friend Sarah Jane Smith. K9 and Sarah soon hopped over to the Sarah Jane Adventures, in which he played a pivotal role. While nobody is suggesting that K9 make a full-time return to Doctor Who, it would be great to see him get his flowers after playing a key part in 2 of the show's most acclaimed eras. Also, as David Tennant was the Doctor who reintroduced K9 and Sarah Jane to a modern audience, K9 crossing paths with the 14th Doctor would be a touching way to pay tribute to the late Elizabeth Sladen. Number 6, Harry. Now before you all exclaim, who? Just hear us out because this is actually a really good one, I promise. Harry was one of Bill's housemates in the Series 10 episode Knock Knock, and his inclusion may have offered a hint as to what happened to a companion from way back in the day. As we discussed in our recent list, 10 Doctor Who characters more important than you realised, Harry was originally going to be revealed as the grandson of 4th Doctor companion Harry Sullivan. While this connection ended up getting cut from the final episode, there's nothing stopping young Harry, played by Colin Ryan, from turning up again and revealing his real heritage. The elder Harry was a medical officer working for UNIT when the 3rd Doctor regenerated into the 4th. He ended up joining Tom Baker for the next several adventures, travelling alongside Sarah Jane and also encountering the Brigadier. So, imagine young Harry showing up again, only this time he's landed a job with UNIT. It would be a great way to pay homage to those 4th Doctor days and would see Harry working alongside another relative of a 4th Doctor companion, the Brigadier's daughter, Kate Lethbridge Stewart. Number 5. Harriet Jones, former Prime Minister. Excuse me, I hear you cry. Harriet Jones died in the Stolen Earth, so how can she return to Doctor Who? Well, that isn't exactly true. The former MP of Flydale North, and yes, the former Prime Minister, made her last televised appearance as the organiser of the Subwave network, which she used to bring together all of the Doctor's earthly allies in an effort to stop the Daleks. But alas, the tyrannical tin cans tracked her down and exterminated her. Or so we thought. Russell T Davies has since revealed that Harriet escaped the Daleks via a trapdoor in her house, like something out of Wallace and Gromit. Sure, this massively undermines her sacrifice, but it also means that she's free to return to the Whoniverse, perhaps with an updated version of the Subwave network, which has recently been teased via marketing for the show. That could help bring more people together to fight the Toymaker, just saying. Plus, it would be nice if Harriet got the chance to speak with the Doctor again, considering that they didn't exactly end things on a positive note the last time they met in the Christmas invasion, and then he thought she died. Number 4. Romana. The Time Lord Romana made her Who debut back in 1978's The Reboss Operation, where she was played by Mary Tam. Tam soon regenerated into Lalla Ward, and Romana continued as a staple of the 4th Doctor's TARDIS team. Both versions of the character were terrific, strong, intelligent, and always ready to challenge the Doctor or deliver a biting quip. Aside from the Master and Rassilon, Time Lords from the Doctor's past don't get a lot of love in New Who, and it would be good to explore the Doctor's relationship with their people via a friendly character rather than a villainous one. With Romana being able to regenerate, it would be easy to slip a new actress into the role. Or Lalla Ward could even return for a couple of adventures before passing the torch on to somebody else. One of the frustrating things about Doctor Who is its insistency on utilising the same types of TARDIS team, mostly young women from contemporary Earth. Now, we'd love to see something radically different here, and having 2 Time Lords at the helm would be a fascinating way to do it. Number 3. Martha Jones. If there's one character who has to be involved in the new, revamped version of UNIT, it's Martha Jones. Though Martha struggled to fill that rose-shaped hole in the 10th Doctor's hearts, she grew into way more than that throughout Series 3 and beyond. She appeared in Series 4 as a leading UNIT employee, helping take on the Sontarans and later threatening to blow up the entire world to halt the Daleks' reality bomb. Freema Agyeman hasn't appeared in Doctor Who since the end of time in 2010. 13 years is a long time for a former main companion to be away, so we think it's about time she got back in the game. With rumours swirling of a UNIT-based spin-off, Agyeman would be a great choice to lead the show alongside Gemma Redgrave's Kate Lethbridge Stewart, and perhaps Eve Miles' Gwen Cooper too. The 60th anniversary specials would serve as an ideal launch pad for this new series, which means that Martha simply has to make an appearance. Even without a UNIT spin-off, it would make sense for Martha to appear given how prominently UNIT is featured in the 60th anniversary trailers. It would be a delight to see Agyeman alongside Tennant one last time, and you just know that she'd get along incredibly well with Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor as well. Number 2. Susan Foreman. The entire reason Doctor Who is celebrating its 60th anniversary in 2023 is because on the 23rd of November 1963, a nosy pair of teachers followed a schoolgirl home. Those teachers were Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright, and the student was Susan Foreman, the granddaughter of the Doctor. Susan travelled with her grandfather for about a year until she left the show to pursue a relationship with a freedom fighter named David. Since then, she has cropped up a handful of times in various special episodes, with her last appearance coming in 1993's Dimensions in Time, a crossover between Doctor Who and EastEnders. Yep, that was a real thing, I'm not making that up. If for no other reason than to give her a better send-off than that, Susan must appear in the 60th anniversary specials. Actress Carol Ann Ford is more than game for a return, telling Radio Times earlier this year that she'd adore one further appearance in the show. Russell T Davies has even been teasing her return, and given how big an occasion the 60th is, it's the perfect opportunity for the Doctor to fulfill the promise he made Susan all those years ago. One day, I shall come back. Number 1. The 11th Doctor. Most Doctor Who anniversaries have featured some sort of Doctor team-up, going right back to the 10th birthday special, The Three Doctors. So it stands to reason that at least one former face should make an appearance in the 60th anniversary. But who? David Bradley, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann all recently made cameos in The Power of the Doctor, so it would feel maybe a bit strange to see them again so soon. Now that only leaves Tom Baker of the classic Doctors, but with The Power of the Doctor being such a love letter to the classic era, it feels like a new Who Doctor is more likely for the 60th. Christopher Eccleston has a frosty relationship with the show and has openly shot down a multi-Doctor return, as has Peter Capaldi. David Tennant is already back and Jodie Whittaker literally just left, which leaves a certain Raggedy Man as the most likely candidate. Given that Matt Smith hasn't played the Doctor since 2013, he's been away long enough for a comeback to feel earned. He also still looks the part, so could slip right back into 11's original timeline without the need for any aging excuse. Though if something like that was required, then just say he nipped out for a quick adventure during the centuries he spent on Trenzalore. It would be disappointing if such a momentous occasion didn't feature past Doctors in some small way, and now feels like the right time for Smith to don the bow tie and tweed jacket just one more time. And that's everything for this list. Now, we know that there's got to be an interesting way to bring people back for the 60th, so why not check out the dark 60th anniversary theory you need to know that might just give us the answer. In the meantime, I've been Ellie with Who Culture, and in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.